As a developer, it feels like every day I see some kind of news of AI about to replace us. CEOs like Mark Zuck saying that AI will not only get as good as a mid-level software engineer, but will replace engineers at some companies altogether. Then of course there's Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, saying that 90% of software will be written by AI in 6 months. And just to add fuel to the fire, Shopify has announced that all software engineers, no matter what, must work with AI at some point and integrate it into their workflow. And if they ever need to hire a new software engineer, they have to prove that AI cannot get the job done. It's gotten so bad, even Obama said software engineers are cooked.
So already the current models of AI, they can code better than, let's call it 60-70% of coders.
And of course, all of this makes the future of software engineering look bleak. I mean, at this point, it's no secret that most homeless shelters are filled with recent CS grads, and that the job market is absolutely cooked. Now, with all of those statements, none of those CEOs directly said to stop learning to code. Most of their statements talked about engineers empowering themselves with AI and becoming more efficient. However, recently I stumbled upon a video from a prominent member in the software engineering community saying directly, do not learn to code.
I'm at this point like sort of agent pilled. I'm very bullish. Like, you know, I sort of changed my answer. Even like a year ago, I would say kind of learn a bit of coding. I would say learn how to think, learn how to break down problems, learn how to communicate clearly, with, as you would with humans, but also with machines.
If you're not aware of who this person is, he used to be a software engineer at places like Yahoo and Meta and was one of the founding engineers at Code Academy, which makes the statement even more ironic. My initial reaction to this video was a lot of frustration and a lot of pushback.
Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! Whoa! Oh, hell no!
I mean, I love coding. I spent years of my life trying to get good at it, or at least try to get decent at it. So hearing someone say that it was a useless skill and that no one should learn to do it anymore stung a little bit. But then I thought to myself, maybe I'm the problem. I've never been the biggest AI supporter. I've been a bit of a unk. And with so many prominent people pushing it, maybe I need to give it a chance. So in this video, I'm going to try out every big AI coding tool I can think of. This will include tools like Cursor, Hosting Your Horizons, which is a bit of a surprise spot, so you'll see more on that, Lovable, V0, Bolt, and some secret extra ones that I have included. Then we will get to see if all the hype is true and that we no longer need to learn to code. Not only that, I will deploy whatever each tool outputs so you can judge for yourself. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, all of the links will be in the description so you can test it out yourself. To make it fair, I have set some ground rules for this challenge. Since I'm not supposed to know how to code, I'm not allowed to make any modifications manually to the code. If I want to change something, I have to go through a prompt. And for every single one of these tools, I will give it the same exact starting prompt. I will be trying to build the exact same thing every time. What I really want to build is a new note-taking app. I've been trying out Notion and it's pretty good, but the one big problem is it doesn't have any Vim bindings. And as other Vim purists know, that is unacceptable. So here's the starting prompt I'm going to give every single one of these AI coding apps. I'm pretty much telling them to make something similar to Notion with a side panel that organizes everything by folders and notes. And for colors, I said to use light theme because that is the superior way to take notes. As you can see, I didn't specify which framework or which data storage to use because some of the AI is trained on specific frameworks and databases, so it'll make the decision. And honestly, as a non-coder, I shouldn't have to worry about those little details. So let's get started. For some of these, I had to buy a subscription, and sadly, I'm not a vibecoding SaaS billionaire just yet. So if you want to help cover some of these costs, make sure to like and subscribe, and if not, that's fine too. We'll call our multi-billion-dollar SaaS Votion. So let's take a look at the first tool, Vercel's V0. Now, since V0 is made by Vercel, whether we like it or not, the AI will generate everything in Next.js and it will host it on Vercel's cloud platform. And to be honest, 90% of AI generated stuff I see is made in Next.js anyway, so this will continue that trend. One thing I like about the V0 platform is it shows some examples made by some other users, as you can see down here. And if we open it up, we can see what they went through. These applications aren't the most detailed. It looks like V0 is meant to kind of just mock things up, but we're gonna give it a try anyway. Let's try out the V0 one-shot. Let's see how this does. And you can see this is clearly a Next.js app. Let's take a look at the file chart. Actually, hands off. I shouldn't be touching any of this. I don't know how to code. Sure, it looks like it's putting mostly everything in one page, but that's fine. Honestly, that's probably more efficient. It looks like it might have created some more components here. There we go. The Vim editor. And here we go. The first one shot of this whole thing. Let's try it out. Okay, let's take a look. So far, it looks pretty good. Oh, my keyboard broke here. It looks like I can only type one letter at a time. Oh, there's, you can't tell, but I'm trying to click as many keys as possible right now. And it doesn't look like it's able to handle it. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm having a lot of issues with this new note-taking app we've got. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna have to iterate this. The one-shot didn't work. I like the theming. It looks great. Better than anything I could design personally. But it doesn't work. I can't enter more than one letter, so I'm going to have to type that in. Let's see if it can fix up the note-taking portion, because, well, it looks like the on-change callback wasn't working, so let's see if that fixes it up. Of course, I personally don't know what an on-change callback even is, since I don't know how to code. But hopefully it does fix it. Yeah, okay, this might do it. And no, it didn't. I can't enter more than one letter still. As you can see, I don't know if this is coming off through the mic, but I am entering as many keys as I possibly can. I think what's happening is, since I input another key, it exits my Vim mode. It thinks it's no longer in insert mode, but I can't tell, obviously. I didn't code this. So let's give it another chance. Okay, last chance. I'm gonna give V0 here. Looks like its UI design is incredibly well done, but the actual editor itself does not seem to work. And maybe my prompt isn't good enough. Maybe I'm just not a good enough prompt engineer. There we go. Wait, I think it restored the notes. There we go. That is beautiful. Okay, let's try note 2. Oh. Looks like it doesn't create 32? Okay. There was an issue creating notes too? Okay. I thought there was an issue creating notes, but it just deleted my note. There are some bugs in this note-taking app. It's not perfect. I don't know why it just deleted my other note. And it looks like it doesn't persist if you change notes. So I'm going to say this as a UI design is successful, but as a note-taking app, I don't think I can use this yet. Unless I just want to, type it in once and then never use my notes ever again. I'm going to say that V0 is not the software engineer killer just yet. As you saw, it was able to generate a pretty decent looking UI, but it was riddled with bugs. At first, it would not even let me type more than one letter at a time, and then, as you saw, it started to delete notes randomly. So I don't think V0 is there just yet. But all CEOs watching this, don't worry just yet. There are plenty of coding tools left. And for the next one, I never thought I'd be saying this so early, but I got a sponsor. And I do have to confess something. I am not a vibe coding SaaS millionaire, so I really do need these sponsorships, I'm not gonna lie. But regardless of how desperate I am, I'm going to try to show the product in an honest light, in an honest way. And obviously, like every single ad, take it with a grain of salt. And this product is free to try out, so give it a test yourself to see if you like it or if you think it's a good one. Okay, I'm done edging. This video is sponsored by Hostinger Horizons. When I was in college, I actually used Hostinger to host most of my apps, Angular apps, but we don't speak of those dark times. They asked me if I wanted to try out their new AI tool called Hostinger Horizons, and I was already midway through making this video, so I thought to myself, let me get this moolah.
Here comes the money.
But actually, I thought, you know what? This might be the only time this would actually fit in anywhere in my video, so might as well try it out. And honestly, I hadn't heard of Hostinger Horizons before they reached out to me, and I'm sure some of you didn't either. So I thought for the video, it might be interesting to try out something different that the vibe coders aren't on just yet. Now, even though they sponsored this video, I'm going to treat Hostinger Horizons just like I did every single other tool here. I'm giving you this exact same prompt, and I'm going to see the results and hopefully make it as transparent as I can for you guys, just so you can compare and see what it's like. So this is the exact same one. Let's see how the one shot works out here. Okay, and as you can see, for full transparencies, I do have an ad account, and you can see I have way more monthly messages than all of you, and I've used some to test this out before. Spoiler alert. In terms of speed, it's honestly about as quick as the other ones. I'm not gonna lie, it's not quicker, it's about the exact same. So for full honesty, the first one shot, the UI, it looks fine. The main important thing, the Vim bindings, my Votion app, will it work? Let me try it out. And obviously this X covering here, not great, but we can fix that with some prompt engineering. Oh, look at that, one web error. Let's see if we can fix it. So hopefully they let me keep this part in. I do like the fact that I can just click the ask to fix. The other ones, I have to say, hey, this is broken, can you fix it? That's great, but hopefully it fixes it correctly and fixes up whatever I need. Okay, new note added. Let's see if the Vim, the most important part of our Votion app, the Vim. Okay, I'm typing this all out. I can't think of a better word than test, but we're going. Wow. Okay. It seems to work. It seems to have fixed it. Feels fairly smooth. I have my Vim bindings, though. Creating new notes overwrites the previous one. And I honestly felt like that would happen. Let me try for the final part. Let's see if it can fix it up. For the third attempt, let's see if it got things correct. Though I will say that X is... Okay. Note 1. Test. Okay. Well, looks like there is some persistence issue. And honestly, since they're a sponsor, let me give them a final attempt. Okay. 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 I told you. Eventually I prompt engineered my way out of this. Looks like I finally gave it the working prompt. And honestly, as a tool, as a note-taking tool, this is pretty good. I think this is on par with the other ones. And fair warning, I have used this Hostinger Horizons before to try the same prompt, and it did better, surprisingly, in the other attempts. This solution is on par with the others and better than some of the other ones where they never fixed it. One thing that I really liked and that they specified about Hostinger Horizons is the fact that they said this isn't meant to replace your development skills. Instead, it's supposed to help you create your initial MVPs, your initial designs, and get your idea out there quickly. And then you can actually go up to the top left and export your code so you can do it yourself if need be, or make changes yourself further on and develop your project even further, which I think is a great feature for developers. And then then there's also Supabase integrations if you need it, which is great if you rely on Supabase or you like Supabase's quick setup process. I think it's a great feature to add into Hosting Your Horizons here. Now, if you want to try out Hosting Your Horizons, it's 100% free to try out. And if you're going to, make sure to use the link I provide up here on the screen and in the description down below, hostingyour.com/basic-dev. Please, so they know I sent you. And Hosting Your was so kind. They said, you know what? If your audience doesn't want to use Hosting Your Horizons or any AI tools, we will still allow the discount code to work for our own private VPS services if they want it. That means if you have your own project you want to deploy, or if you've been following PewDiePie in his Arch Linux journey and you want to join in with him, Hosting Your has you covered with a 10% off coupon, which I think is an amazing deal, and I'm grateful that they offered this. So make sure to try out Hosting Your Horizons if you're interested, or use their VPS service if you want to deploy a project or try out some of these OSs yourself. And make sure to use the code BASICDEV at any checkout for 10% off and to show them that this was not a wasted sponsorship. Thank you very much. And even though they're a sponsor, I'm going to be honest, Hosting Your Horizons is not a replacement for hard software engineering skills. Up next is Lovable. I think you're going to start seeing there's a trend with all of these designs. It's fairly simplistic and it has the prompt right in the center so you can get straight to the action. However, I like Lovable's. It has shows the 50,000 builders and this guy is just mewing right on my screen. So I honestly have to put some respect to Lovable here. Now let's give it the exact same prompt and see how it does. The only issue is I had to search for the submit button, but I think it's going now. We're gonna see if Lovable does a better job than V0. So far, we haven't had much success, but we're gonna see. What is it using as? I think this is just pure React. And it looks like it's not using any library. It's setting up the Vim interface right here by itself. And giving it all the commands. So maybe in the last one, it just didn't know, it didn't have the insertion command properly handled. So hopefully Lovable does do a better job of it. Though there is a significant increase in time for Lovable. Maybe I need to pray for a premium edition. It's for premium compute speeds. I'll start off with the positives. The design, again, looks great. Looks Notion-esque. Looks exactly how I want it. It's great that it has prompts here. Like the initial generation tells me what keys to use. There's already a bit of a bug here. I'm unable to go back a character to get to the first character. It's a little off. Looks like the cursor is actually in front of the character that it's on, instead of behind, which, you know, we're gonna prompt that. Let's test, you know, deleting words. Okay, it doesn't have the delete word. It's delete line. I'm pressing is not working. The navigation works. Normal mode escape works. Insert mode works. Delete line doesn't. And insert new line does. So I think that's fine. You can see I'm pressing DD. It's not working. Let's see. Can I? Okay. Hold on. Let me try another no, because let me try deleting this no. No. Looks like I can't delete specific notes. So another feature. We're gonna give this 3 shots just like we did V0. Let me try this note out again, because I don't think I can delete them. So I'm in. So it's not showing this, but I am trying to go into insert mode right now. Maybe I need escape. I am not able to go into insert mode. So there are some bugs. And I think we can correct these. This is already off to a better start than V0. Is it usable? No. No, it's not. But can it be? We'll see. Let's fix the first issue, which is it's not really hovering over the selected letter. So let's take it one issue at a time here. It does think a lot longer than V0 does. There we go. That's a lot better. And best part is, it does persist the notes. Not sure. There are some bugs. It just feels clunky to use. I'll say that. And it doesn't have all of the Vim key bindings currently. Ignore that and try to fix the issue of whenever a new note is created, it doesn't go into insert mode. I gave it the best prompt possible. I feel like a true product manager right now. Looks like it fixed it. I think the solution was... Oh, I was going to say the solution is to start in insert mode, but it looks like it's still not working. It went in insert mode. It decided to highlight the letter you're on to black. Not sure about this design feature. Not sure if I'm liking it as much, but you know, it's a stylistic choice. Let me see if the bug was resolved. No, I still cannot insert new text into new notes. So maybe we give it one more shot. Okay, another third attempt. We gave V0 3 attempts. Let's give this another attempt. And obviously, I can't fix this bug myself because under the hood, I have no idea what's going on. I looked at it briefly. Looks like it added some console logging. Well, it looks like it didn't fix the issue, so I don't think it's gonna work because all it did was add console logging. And obviously, I don't know that because I'm not a software engineer and I don't know how to code. But I'm gonna have to go and say that this might not resolve the issue. Yeah, I hate to say it, but Lovable did not pass the test. I don't think it's the software engineer killer just yet. And again, this one was really great at creating a UI. It's just the functionality didn't seem to be there. It didn't seem to work. The look is great. The functionality did not work. Did not work again. So it looks like Lovable is now replacing our jobs just yet. It was better than V0. It actually persisted the notes after I switched tabs. However, it was still filled with a ton of bugs that it could not solve. But don't lose hope just yet. We might be able to transcend into vibe coding heaven with the next tool called Bolt. And of course, it continues the same design pattern as the others. But let's not waste any more time and get our prompt in there. I'm ready to one-shot this. I don't know if I like this styling. I don't know if I like this UI. Let's see what packages it's actually using. Looks like it is going to use Supabase. And as you can see, Bolt is partnered with Supabase. So it might have a persistent storage. Surprisingly, that was really quick. It looks like it's already up and running. Wow, that is, so far, I am most impressed with this one. Let's create a new folder. Oh, I spoke too soon. I can't create a folder at all, actually. I hate to say it, but I'm going to have to say that it failed the one-shot test here. I'm not able to edit or create any kind of folder here. I'm going to have to prompt this straight away here. Okay. Let's see. It looks like it fixed it. It has the Vim bindings. Let's see. Look at that. It does have some UI features, bugs, kind of. Everything seems to be working well. Let's see if I can get it to rename and delete notes. Looks like it's done. Added some icons. Let's see. New folder. First folder. Let's do that. So it added it. Okay. It looks like we can add our... I made sure that it named the file, the first line. I will say I wish it shortened it, but that's okay. I never really, specified the prompt to shorten it. So I think that's all right. I will say I'm not able to rename, even though I asked for renaming. The UI isn't perfect, obviously. When I drop, it closes the first and second folder. I think this one is a lot more successful. I think this has better results. Though I will say when it changed, there are bugs with it, not as noticeable as the other two, with V0 and with Lovable. They were nearly unusable. Luckily, this is a lot better. Let's get this as the third attempt, the final attempt to rename some notes. Perfect. Looks like it's complete. Let's try creating some new notes for us. Sadly, I think we were a little bit too ambitious asking it to rename the notes. It looks like it took away the previous functionality we had where it would rename the title if you didn't set any to the first line. Looks like that's completely gone. Luckily though, you can now rename it with this note. I will say Bolt is a lot better than the other two. I think these results are actually acceptable. This is the most passable example. There are obviously some issues, and whenever I make any updates, it changes more than I need. And it really sometimes undoes features that I have already implemented. And I'm seeing a bug right now where I sometimes am unable to switch nodes. But all of that can be forgiven. In all honesty, Bolt was the most successful. It was able to handle the majority of the Vim key bindings while also persisting storage and not having as many bugs. Would I trust sending it to production?
Hell no!
No. Would I trust launching a SaaS with it? No. But it was a lot better and a lot more impressive, though iterations still felt clunky, and there's a lot of limitations I felt while using this tool. Maybe some vibe coders are cheering right now and saying, I told you so, but I'm not ready to say that Bolt is a better alternative to learning good software engineering practices. Even though it's able to complete the task, it does so with major changes and overhauls that sometimes I don't want. But maybe the next tool will change my opinion completely. Up next, I'm going to try out the infamous, the notorious, the well-known Cursor. Now, Cursor actually gives us a lot more options, especially in choosing which AI model we want to use. I decided to go with Gemini 2.5 Pro since everyone seems to think it's the best option, and I want to give Cursor a fair shot here. I've given Cursor the exact same prompt. Let's see how it does. What the? Well, I hate to say it, I will not be using Gemini Pro 2.5 Pro. I don't have that kind of wallet for this. So you know what? I'm gonna go with auto select. This is taking a while, especially since it's downloading so many dependencies. I hate to say it, but it looks like the local environment is broken. I think there are some bugs in some of the components where it will not render out the local environment currently. So let's take a look at what's actually going on here. Even though I'm not supposed to be a coder right now, I see that the main class is using some Boolean for Vim that currently doesn't exist, I'm assuming, on that class. This type does not exist, so maybe we specify something. Now that we've got our perfect prompt set, let's see if Cursor can actually find the issue. I'm not going to provide it where this problem is because, honestly, I don't know this code base. Looks like it did finally resolve the issues, but, I hate to say it. Out of the design element, this one is 100% the worst one. Sad to say. Compared to the other ones, this isn't great. Not only that, there's no option to add or create new notes and folders. So right now, I'm going to try and prompt it to allow us to add new notes and new folders. Looks like it finally made the changes, so let's test this out again. But now let's try a new folder. Okay, great new folder. This UI is a lot more smooth than the other UIs. Looks like this one is the smoothest out of all of the other options. All other options felt clunky, including Bolt. But this one, even though it's the ugliest, it's the closest one I would personally use for note-taking. Though I will say it is not bug-free. The rename tool does not work at all. So that's gone. No, luckily, delete does work. If I had to use Cursor, I would still use it like a developer. I would give it smaller portion sizes and try to understand what's going on under the hood, since some of these implementations don't seem that great, and the majority of the work here is done by dependency. The editing, all of that is done, and all the Vim bindings are done through a dependency that it itself did not implement. The portions it did try to implement, it did an okay job through, but I would still not give it full control over my code base, especially if it's a large production code base. Now for the final test, I have a surprise entry. If you remember at the start of the video, the former Code Academy engineer that says do not learn to code anymore. In a shocking twist that probably surprised none of you, he has his own coding startup called Replit. So since he's making such bold claims, I thought I would give it a try, and hopefully he's not trying to just shill a crappy AI startup on us. So let's give it the exact same prompt we gave the others and see how it does. Okay, let's, yes, add some markdown support. This is nice. It tells me to add features. You know what? Let's add all of these. So it says it's going to take 2 to 10 minutes, which is a long time to generate relative to the others. Obviously, if you're saying creating an app takes a lot more time, but the others generated in a lot quicker. It looks like my app crashed. Hopefully the agent can fix this. It looks like it's found an issue of the application. The Vite build is failing because it can't find files that are being imported. Thing is, I'm not the one importing it. I hate to say it. That is on this agent, on this AI assistant. So I hope it can fix it. Holy, wow, that is destroyed the application, kind of. I don't. Those package installs completely changed this app. I don't know what it did. I hope it fixes it. Okay, so I think it's finally done. It looks pretty decent. Problem is, so at one point it crashed the app because it wasn't referencing main correctly, and then after that it put everything on one line. Let's see if I can make multiple lines. There we go. Oh, so first bug, if I try to make inserts and I try to leave blank space, it will always delete it by itself. Pretty bad. Let me see if I type any letters. Will it? Okay, so it right now deletes any blank spaces whenever you try to make changes. So hopefully we can, correct that. That is really annoying. That is deleting my spaces, test spaces. But, so far it's not bad. I don't know why it has this megabyte usage at the bottom. I'm not sure what that is. And I think there's an import. There should be an import feature, which I don't think it implements. I did not comment that out, by the way. That was on its own. It did that part. So this one so far has had the most bugs I've seen out of all of them. Again, this is frustrating because it keeps adding this backslash. I did not touch the keys. I did not add this backslash. Let's try to fix some of these bugs. Let's first start with the extra spaces. Okay, I requested it to fix the blank space issue. Hopefully, the editor doesn't take as much time as it did before, and hopefully it can get us through. It did say it was going to have an import feature, which it doesn't. Let's clarify. I did implement import, export, key shortcuts, and navigation between notes. Okay. So, it's clearly taking out some of the description, and looks like it's finally making changes. This is taking a lot more time than the others. Finally, it added the feature. It fixed the bug, I think. It should have. Right? Not exactly. Okay. So, technically, it fixed the bug, but instead, now it adds... now it adds a ton bulletin points. It adds a ton of bulletin points. I don't know why. I was on my keyboard. I was clicking DD to delete the line. But let's see how many. Okay, perfect. Let me try delete. Okay, every time I delete one of these, it adds even more. Oh my, this is unusable. Creating a new note here. Try to. Okay. Insert, test, insertion. It still deletes the blank space. So far, this one has been the worst one by far. If I had to choose to use any editor, this one would be the last one. If I had to choose any AI tooling, this one has been the worst so far. It's very slow. The iterations are so slow. And it seems to have, I don't know what it's trained on. I don't, like all of these tools, I think there's a problem where besides cursor, I don't know what agent it's using under the hood, if it's a custom one or not. And if it's custom, this one is much worse. I'll try one more time, because this I cut out this video a little bit for most parts, but this takes so long to change to the point where it's unusable. This tool seems to be the worst one out of all of them. Okay, one last chance. So far, this tool, if I had to choose any of them, this one would be last place. I would never pick this one, especially because for price and standpoint, the others are equivalent. But this one is just a worse tool overall and a worse experience. Settings does not work. This highlights over, I don't know why it's showing normal mode and insert mode. Clearly, even though I switch modes, it does not add it. I will say, just like the rest, the UI still looks good. I think it's still a good looking UI. It used to have an option to bold here, to bold, underline the text for Markdown. I don't know what happened, but it completely deleted that. Okay, let's see. It looks like it should have resolved the issues. Let's see if I make a new no. There we go. It still deleted the lines. Out of all the editors, this one is by far the worst one. Even if I was telling someone, don't learn to code, I would not use this editor. Overall, none of these tools have convinced me that coding knowledge isn't important. Some of the AI tools did accomplish the task, but with a lot of flaws that a regular developer could resolve quickly. But of course, I'm not fully delusional. AI is an integral part of development at this point, and it does make you quicker. But it's not a replacement for development knowledge. Instead, it's supposed to enhance what you already know. All these CEOs telling us not to learn to code and the developers are obsolete and will soon be replaced are just trying to push their AI product. I think the Primeagen made one of the best points on over-reliance on AI.
By the way, the funny part is the more you use AI, I would argue you are not learning. In fact, one would argue that you're actually avoiding learning for the sake of productivity. I'm not saying that's a bad trade-off. If right now I needed to make a single shader for my game, which was to burn a card, whoosh, burn a card, make it go away. If I could just do one prompt and make that happen, well, then I don't have to learn shaders, right? Like that, you just saved me like a week of time of going through and trying to learn all the stuff that's probably going to be required to just be able to write this. Like that's probably a trade-off that I would be personally willing to make. Because the point is I want to make a game. I don't want to spend a week on making a card, if that makes sense. But I also got to realize that by making that one decision, I've kicked a can down the road. And that can is going to cost me at some point. At some point, you can't always keep kicking that can down the road. At some point, if you don't learn it, you are stuck with whatever the LLM can generate for you. And that is your ceiling because you have simply siloed yourself into being completely and intentionally learned helplessness.
Over-reliance on these tools sets limitations on yourself. You're no longer able to go beyond whatever it outputs. In essence, you are vendor locking yourself to these CEOs' products that they're trying to push onto us. And that's most likely why they're so heavily trying to say that software engineering isn't needed. It's so that you and I rely more and more on these LLMs and don't try to learn correct development practices ourselves. And finally, let me point you to one last place in that video I showed at the beginning.
I would say learn how to think, learn how to break down problems, right? Learn how to communicate clearly, as you would with humans, but also with machines.
I would argue that learning to code is the best way to learn to think and to learn to problem solve. It is the ultimate way to communicate with machines and understand how they work under the hood. So unlike CEOs trying to push their AI SaaS startup, I say don't throw away your CS degree just yet and keep learning and keep trying to get better at programming. But maybe I'm completely wrong and I'm about to be be replaced by an AI chatbot anytime now. But until that happens, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, especially because this one took a lot longer than I expected. But thank you for watching.